On a scale, arbitrary scale of 1 to 10, how is this game? I actually prefer the 1 to 5 scale, but I would put this at a solid 4.5? 4.5? It really depends on kind of your perspectives. Obviously, number rating systems are kind of dumb if you're specifically, because it's hard to rate something based on personal flavor. From my perspective, this is one of the better games that I've ever played. Second in its genre only to Factorio, and maybe 5-10 years of development. But, like, given enough time, this game will be an absolute masterpiece, assuming they take it as far as it deserves. And if they don't, oh well. So what's the rating on... What's that rating on 1 to 5? 4.5 out of 5, not 10. So the reason why I like the 5-point scale is because it's simpler. 10 starts getting a little... would I say... How would I say it? 10 is too big of a range. It's like out of 100. Like, after a certain point, you're just kind of like, well, is this a 67 or a 62? And it starts getting really fiddly real fast. And you kind of have to ask yourself, like, okay, what is my scale? I feel like 1 to 5 is easily broken down and categorized in a manner that a lot of people can understand. Which is, that's like saying 9 out of 10. True. So the reason why I like and I agree with you. The reason why, let's break it down. So 1 is terrible. No one should play it. Only people that are really interested in dumb, memey, broken shit should play a 1. 2 is bad game. It's just not good. No one will like this. Or no one in their right mind will like this. Maybe it's some crazy pants folks, but, like, this is not a game that would be enjoyed by most folks. Let's see. And then 3 is mediocre. It's okay. Some people will like it, but for the most part, it's not anything special. I would say it's very solidly like, it's a Legend of Bumbo probably is a solid 3 for me. Whereas, like, yeah, this is kind of fun, but it really did nothing to capture the original spirit of Isaac. And, well, it managed to do all right. It was just kind of a meh for me. Same thing with, like, Kunai and a couple other games where it's just like, yeah, I kind of like this, but I'm hearing noises. Damn, this thing actually has some stuff around it. Kunai's soundtrack was pretty dang good, but like the rest of it it got meh real fast. Okay, open drop pod. It needs motors. 35 motors. Ow. Well, we'll just grab what resources we have. If you're getting into fractionals, don't you have an infinite selection of values to choose from regardless of max of 5 or 10? True. Okay, let's keep breaking this down. So 3s are just kind of average, boring, whatever shit, lag spike. Ow. It's fine. We're okay. Let's see. Scan for coal. I know we've got some around here somewhere. The hell are you? Sam ore. Alright. I guess I'll grab it. Let's see. So, 4 is good game. Would recommend to most people. And it's worth picking up for almost anyone. 5 is, like, 10 out of 10 perfect game. And, well, 10 out of 10 har. You know, more or less perfect game. Everybody should try this at least once in their life. Because it's such a unique and interesting... Ah, shit! It's such a unique and interesting thing. So I would solidly put, say... God, don't even have my boots anymore. What do I need to make my boots? Alright, they'd be over here-ish. I always have some spare stuff prepared. Yeah. Well, I think I'm just gonna run back this time, and if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out. Falling damage is kind of butts. I'm not a fan of it. Let's see, babe. The reason why you like the out of 10 system is there's more flexibility. I think the main reason why I'm just kind of on 10 system is it's so much harder to ascribe exact, like, objective levels to 1 out of 10. Because then, like, then you have, like, good but not great, and then great but not perfect. I guess you can kind of do stuff like that, but after a certain point, like, I'd almost rather just have that be the decimal system between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because then you know exactly where it is. It's kind of like, the lower the amount of, like, objectives tiers, the lower the amount of objective tiers you have, the easier it is to categorize anything. At least in my experience. It's kind of like how with traffic lights, you really only have 3. Red, yellow, green. Plus turn signals, which are necessary but separate. You don't really want to have 3 different shades of yellow, because then everybody starts playing the guessing game. And the larger the range is, the less convenient it is. I suggest a 27-point system. But yeah, the other problem with the 1 out of 10 system is nobody uses 1 to 4, so it's 1 out of 6, but bigger. And I feel like forcing it down to a 1 to 5 means that 1 and 2 hopefully are rarely used, because that's the 1 to 4. And so yeah, then really it's just a scale of 1 through 3, mediocre, good, and then great. But even then, like, eh. But yeah, point systems are dumb. It's part of the reason why I almost never use them. I only use them when people ask. Not necessarily to deride anybody that does ascribe to a point system. I certainly will use that as a rough estimate when being like, okay, how good is this game? And somebody's like, yeah, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'll be like, alright, cool. But like, normally I find it difficult to quantify that just in terms of like, yeah, how would I? How would you rate me on a 1 to 10 wander? 2 pie, Marionberry, and pumpkin. But there's some slices removed, because I was hungry. Okay, so I fell to my death over here. I probably should have brought some concrete. I'm not moving at the speed of ridiculous anymore, so... Okay, I can go here. We can get a yellow power slug. That worked out. Okay, so I died right down here. You know what? Let's eat some berries. Oh. Okay, not nearly as bad. Okay, there's my stuff. Alright, put that on. Put that on. Put the beacons on. Let's see. And grab the nuts. So, nice part is, this has a whole bunch of water around it. Which means, if and when we need a secondary coal line, this is a great spot. It does also look to have a local. Luckily, the local is dumb as bricks, so we didn't have to worry about it too much. Alright, so what else do we got around here? This area is kind of isolated. Smart thing to do would actually be to take the chainsaw to some of this stuff, but that's more effort. So yeah, looks like we got copper ore, a couple of bugs around here, and some other stuff. Ow. Ow. How are you still alive? That is so loud. Should chainsaw some of this. Some of this stuff is mushrooms. Does that make much of a difference? Well, unfortunately, I did not bring a whole lot of fuel. Let's see, ladder to the top. Now I'm going to go around. I'm on adventure time while we wait for resources back at base to expand. Let's see. Find a reviewer that consistently likes the same things as you do for the same reasons, and their numbers will mean something. They have entirely different tastes than what they like might be meaningless. Yeah. I'm honestly a little bit shocked we haven't had any reviewers step in to really fill the role that, say, Total Biscuit had in the industry. We got a couple that are pretty good. ACG is pretty good. And maybe there's a couple others that I don't know about. See, Total Biscuit was biased about stuff, though. He was biased. But, like, it felt like a lot of his biases were at least well-reasoned. And just, like, even if you didn't agree with him, you could at least somewhat respect his bias. And he also generally would acknowledge it, too. And, like, I would much rather have a heavily biased reviewer that fully acknowledges their bias than a biased reviewer that pretends to be completely, you know, unbiased and whatever. Someday I'd like to maybe get into reviews, but I think I'd prefer to be more on the, like, hey, look at this cool game, than the, like, actual, let's break down why this game is a problem. I've tried to be critical and analytical, and I do that here and there. But every time I do, I can't deal with the vitriol that he could. I don't think most people can, which is, I think, the biggest issue. Is that, like, when reviewing things, you have to be divisive. No matter what you like or don't like, someone's always going to disagree with you. And oftentimes, they will disagree in a very negative fashion. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of the reason why there hasn't been another TB. I'm just going to get rid of the spare biofuel. Is because, like, nobody has, like, found themselves in a position where their opinions are wildly...
The mycelia within this fungus suggests strong molecular bonding features frequently observed in adhesives and medicine, both beneficial for field research. A new research tree can now be accessed in the MAM.
I have no idea which is mycelia. Is that mycelia? Heck if I know. I actually don't recognize what the mushrooms are. But, you know, I don't think we've really had any people go by that specifically could get their point across. Oh, these are the mycelia. Wait, is the white hexagons these things? I guess so. Because, yeah, it won't let me get rid of them directly with a chainsaw. They'll go... No, it's absolutely these tree things. Yeah, it's the big old trees. Alright, makes it easy. Inventory is going to get a bit full on leaves, but... oh well. We'll just fill up and then I'll come back later. Let's have this be the last two. Just because... I hate to waste, not resources, time with a full inventory. Okay. And now we should figure out how to get back. Without dying, ideally. Is that a pass? No, that's not a pass. Well, I've got a bunch of concrete, yeah? Let's see. I can see this is going to be a bit of an issue. Oh no, I think we're going to be okay. But yeah, I just don't think there's been any reviewers that have, like, really managed to capture, people's... I don't know if hearts and minds is the right way to put it, but I don't think I've seen any reviewers that really managed to have their opinions across in, like, a short and easy manner, but also, like, well, no, it's like ACG is close. ACG is Angry Centaur Gaming. I watch his reviews here and there. He's decent. I like his stuff. I don't watch it that often. I think maybe it's because he's too neutral sounding. And that, like, I would look to him for a generally unbiased opinion on something, but I wouldn't be as interested in him if he was trying to speak as passionately about a topic just because I wouldn't be used to it. Let's see, Sid Alpha is also fairly unbiased. I like the idea of Sid Alpha, I think, more than the actual execution. The guy himself is great, but his channel is very... It is very easily mired in the negative, in the ill. I used to watch him before the Alec Haloka thing? Was it Alec Haloka? Or... No. No, Haloka was a different... Alex Haloka. It was... shoot, I don't remember. Maybe I do have the sound effects too high. Mauer, there we go. I was watching him before the Mauer situation, and I had to stop after Mauer, just because it was too much. It was too consistent, and his audience was getting negative. I wouldn't necessarily say TB's audience wasn't actually any better, but it felt like there were more people that were there for positive things as well. And comparatively, like, I'd find most people watch Sid Alpha, for example, as a Schadenfreude. People love Schadenfreude. Problem is, Schadenfreude, it's not healthy. It makes you focus and dwell on relatively negative things without, you know, a whole lot of positive. Because you're effectively delighting in somebody else's either misfortune or, you know, getting really invested in the negativity of someone else's actions, behaviors, or whatnot. And you're usually hoping for comeuppance. And you're right, Schadenfreude is a natural human reaction, but the problem is it's also naturally vitriolic. And I have problems with that. It's so easy to delve into toxicity that, like, well, sure, I think it's important to learn the lesson from, like, that kind of content, those videos and whatnot. You know, don't be like this. Here are people to avoid. Here's awful things people have done. But if that's the only thing you consume, oh yeah, I'm not getting anything from them. Weird. Oh, because my inventory is full. That's what's going on. Oh well. Not a biggie. Let's see. But yeah, if the only thing you're devouring content-wise is vitriol, then even if you yourself are a nice, kind, friendly person, something about this spooky. I know there's, like, some megafauna in this game, but I don't know where they'd show up. I don't see any slugs around here. We should head home if my inventory is super full. But, like, I certainly would agree that, like, Schadenfreude at the tail end is good. I think the problem is that, like, especially for that kind of content, it was a lot of, like, people wanting Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude baiting, maybe, would be the wrong word that I'm going to use here, but, like, reading the end result of, like, say, Harvey Weinstein being, being sentenced to, geez, was it like 23, 26 years in prison? 23 years, yeah. That's the schadenfreude I'm looking for. Because it's short, it's simplistic, I didn't need to get invested, and a bad man is going away probably for the rest of his life. And yeah, to some degree, like, delighting in that punishment for another person, I think, is maybe also part of my issue. Is that, like, if you celebrate vitriol and, like, punitive justice too much, you kind of forget that, like, human beings are flawed and make mistakes from here, like, every once in a while. And so it's kind of one of those where it's like, some people do things that absolutely cannot be, like, you can't come back from. But there's a lot of people that, yeah, it's just a minor mistake or whatever, but people are so quick to jump on them and yell at them and get really, you know, get really angry or upset at what might honestly have been a minor comment or an unintended slight. And if we really buy into this mentality of punitive justice, then after a certain point, it really, we do straight go, what is it? Eye for an eye. Who's the one that came up with the eye for an eye? Because I know Gandhi was the one that said eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, and I think that's kind of where I'm stuck on. Hammurabi. There we go. Hammurabi's code, I 100% understand, like, why Hammurabi's code makes sense, especially in, like, a relatively limited environment or whatever. But the problem is, like, you then run into this this type of society and this type of mentality where everyone needs to be punished for things. It's easy for us to say these things from positions of privilege. For people in minorities, vulnerable, don't get fair treatment or representation. It's empowering to see those things happen. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's just grab the lot of these, because I need a bunch of motors, or rotors, but we also got to make motors, which is elsewhere. The point of Hammurabi's code was his code of laws people had to follow. The eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth is a phase intended to help people limit your revenge to the value it was lost. I think the problem is, though, like, no matter what, like, I get it. It's a very good and rudimentary law.
Several buildings aimed at factory traversal can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
But, like, I feel like that's that should almost be a private thing after a certain point. Like, okay. Getting justice for a wrong that has been wrought on you, cool. Delighting in watching other people get justice for the wrong they committed on other people, I think that's where I get stuck. I don't like the external vengeance that people seem to seek, because I feel like that does lead to a toxic mentality and not one that we as a people, society, or whatever should support. Just because, like, yeah, you do end up with a lot of people that are just, like, screaming for blood whenever anything happens. Like, most of the time, yeah, it's all fairly minor stuff, but every once in a while it isn't. Let's see, see what you mentioned a little while ago. Fortunately, there's only so much I can read in chat. I can try and scroll up a little bit. Whatever you said, it was a while back. Why did my music freak out a little bit? But no, it's... I remember I used to watch a lot of... Judge Judy. Oh. I see. That's what you're saying. See, the punishment of sexual violators is a good thing. Oh, no, I absolutely agree. There are certain things that absolutely should be punished, and, like, having somebody punished for, yeah, sexual violence, like, cool. I think my problem is just the spectacle of it bothers me. And that's why I get really, really itchy about that sort of thing. Because justice is important. Fairness and whatever is good. Rest in peace, Judge Judy is in the show, not the person. I mean, yeah, well, realistically, you shouldn't celebrate her too much. She's kind of an asshole. Like, she made her money, and now she sits around yelling about how everybody else should work hard and do the same thing. Which, I never really liked that opinion. It's too basic. What was she yelling about recently? I think it had something to do with, like, universal healthcare. But, like, it's like, no, you should work hard to afford your universal healthcare. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do a very quick constructor right here. Can't afford. Oh, because I don't have the reinforced iron plates. Let's see. Because I don't have biscuits. I am so low on resources. Actually, no, I'm not. It's just some of it sitting around in here. I've got the screws. Cool. Oh. But yeah, just to go back to, say, like, the Weinstein thing, for example, or just to finish my thoughts on that, it's not that it's not that I'm decrying, like, celebrating his incarceration. I think that's a good thing. I think the biggest issue is that people can't get so invested in this sort of thing because it consumes them. Even as simple as, like, a lesson that I think I've been learning lately is obviously coronavirus. It's extremely important to be aware and safe, but I spent my whole day fretting about it. In an unhealthy manner. I was sitting around just being like, okay, look at the news, look at Discord, look at Twitter, look at news, Discord, Twitter, news, Discord, Twitter. Rinse, repeat until I was a stressed mess and I wasn't doing anything. And I eventually had to pull myself out of it because I needed to edit Ori and the Blind Forest and some other things. I'm just going to chuck the leaves in. Oh, shit. Never mind. I was going to chuck the leaves in there, but I forgot. It won't output. It's dumb. But, so it wasn't good of me to do that. Even though it's important to stay aware, the problem is it consumed my day in an unhealthy manner that didn't help anybody, especially not me. Okay, so we need steel production. So let's start with this. And I think it's kind of the same thing with, like, getting really invested in, you know, punishing people or whatever. Like, it's going to consume you in an unhealthy manner, and it's going to waste your day, time, week, month, whatever, in a way that does not benefit you in any shape or form, apart from, like, this kind of temporary feeling of, well, schadenfreude. I'm not saying everybody has to be, like, 100% productive all the time, but it's important to remember that, like, there are better things to do with your life than get really stuck on this stuff, and there are better things to do than, like, really feed into this cycle as well, I guess. And so that's why I can't get into Sid Alpha's content. That took a while, I'm sorry. I've thought about this a lot, and the answer is just, like, I think I just get too consumed by negativity. I certainly have people that, like, I wish I had sufficient justice for what they've done to me. I mean, I told the story of the guy who, me and my friends had pranked a little bit. We had surrounded his Animal Crossing house to the point where he could get into it. every other person in that story were major players in me getting kicked out of that frat a couple years later. Later? Year and a half later. And, like, boy howdy, I'm still furious about it. But it's one of those where it's like, I spent enough time being furious and consumed by it that, like, I kind of said, like, okay, this is a goddamn waste of time. It helped a little bit to toss the supercomputers in for the wall conveyors. Could be. But, like, I spent a lot of time being livid at these people for what they had effectively done to me. And what I had to go through to get through it. But the somewhat nice thing from my perspective was the fact that I was actually... Oh. The iron is dry. Why is the iron dry? I guess we're just not getting enough. Well, easy solution. This line ain't going anywhere. It's barely doing anything. I'm going to tear this up a bit. But yeah, the thing that actually pulled me out, it was a relatively short funk, all things considered. Obviously, still mad at the people involved, but what pulled me out of it was actually just the fact that I was in Croatia, and I was just like, holy shit, I am wasting my time here being furious at these people. Okay, so that actually didn't help as much as I thought. Okay, this is freaking heavy topics. We're just stuck. I think this is part of the reason why I'm also so, like, vehement about potentially, not trying to dwell on this stuff. Is that, like, especially right now, I think everybody is stuck in this cycle of, honestly, fear and strain and frustration in a way that, like, none of us can really deal with. Well, let's see. Where do I want to... I mean, I don't know about you guys, but, like I said, I wasted a lot of this afternoon just being like, oh god, you know, how bad is everything? And the answer is, yeah, pretty bad. Okay, can I connect these two? I can. That's actually kind of great. And so, I'm pretty sure everybody in the world is kind of going through this right now, where it's just like, shit sucks, and it's not fun. And so we're kind of in this, like, bad funk. I think that's part of the reason why it is so important to kind of separate yourself out from it, just slightly. Okay, I'm gonna... let's see. That there. So we should do... that there. These... yes. Okay, there's enough of a gap. Okay, there we go. So now we've got a whole bunch of iron plates coming in into a double splitter balancer situation. Did I connect these two? It looks like I did. The fudge? Oh, yes. Did I? Ah, didn't connect these two. There we go. Okay, think the one below is messed up. Yeah, it seems like it. Okay. Oh, yeah, go figure. It's messed up. I put these wrong. Okay. So I want to have a 9 right here. How close could I have it be? Okay, there we go. So, it's moving. It's not pretty, but it's moving now. And both lines will be moving. We need to... Let's see, do we connect all 4 properly? Yeah, because these 2 are already connected. These 2 are connected. That's working. And there are no plates going by, but I can see it in there. Yeah, okay. It's connected. It's a little tight, but still. Yeah, on a unrelated note, any upbeat games being played tonight? Nothing particularly upbeat. It's no Wander Song. Wander Song is a great game to play when you're sad. Or stressed, or whatever. We could get a Factorio-style splitter that could do that. Do the same as those 4. Yeah, really? That'd be so nice. Okay, so now we've got iron plates rolling into this thing fast. Which is good, because we need it. Because this is freaking slow. Let's see. I love that it's called Wander Song. I know, right? Like, Wander Song came at such a perfect time for me. Oh, right. Short Hike is free on Epic right now. That's a good one, actually. If any of you guys, you know, can plug your nose and get a game on Epic, a Short Hike is really good. Actually, all three free games on Epic at this current moment are fantastic. Okay, I think we should have enough. Pretty sure I can't make that fall without hurting myself. Because yeah, it's a short hike. It's yeah, I can look this up real quick. As long as my cursor isn't totally captured by my TV. Let's see. Home. What are the 3 free games? Short Hike, Anodyne 2, and Mutazione. So, a Short Hike and Mutazione are really good. Anodyne is weird as shit, and if you feel like getting into that one, good luck, because... Okay. That was such a bonkers game. I don't even know how to describe it. But yeah, they're all pretty good. It's so freaking dark in here. Let's see. Do I want to go down here, tear this up a little bit, and put in the weird splitter situation? I think the biggest problem is we need faster belts going to all of these. So I feel like I should just wait. Okay. Right. Steel production soon. I still gotta go find some more hard drives, though. But yeah, I believe both the Short Hike and Mutazione are... They're games very heavily based around the concept of managing depression and negative feelings and some other stuff. I did not actually grab enough rotors while I was up there. That flashlight helps a tiny bit. It does, but it's such a tiny bit. Like, the flashlight is almost insultingly bad. Anyway, I was going to talk about Wandersong a little bit. I mean, I've definitely said this one before, but, like, I've more or less just lost, all of my friends. And I had, like, wrecked my hands from from somewhat unrelated things and somewhat related things. And just, like, I was having an absolute garbage September back at the end of 2018. And Wandersong just comes out, and it is just such a breath of fresh air. It was such a perfect game at the time. So I'll always sing that game's praises. You never forget the bean. Yeah! Also, thank you, Soviet Fox, for the 32-month resub. Damn! Thank you! I'm just going to handcraft these. So the problem is, in general, we just need a lot of resources, and it's going to take forever for me to build them up. My best bet, honestly, is leave this running for a while and or route more iron into this business, which actually, routing more iron in is probably the first thing that I should probably work on. We did just find a couple more iron fields. But we need, like, higher tier miners. There's a lot of things. Whew. That'll take a while.
Milestone reached. Steel production unlocked. Foundry grants access to new, simple steel parts. An additional project part can now be constructed. Progress to the next phase is now possible.
So yeah, we want advanced steel production so I can go on to miner Mark IIs. It's gonna take a while to get the resources for this. So there's a game called Wandersong. Is that a for general public game or a made for Wander game? And if the former, what would Wander think if someone had made a game for him specifically? I'd be quite honored if somebody made a game for me specifically. I would also think it was kind of a waste of time because they should make a game for everyone and then just have like a cute nod for me instead. Because otherwise, like, you know, your game's not going to do great, probably, maybe. Gotta be mildly realistic. Let's see. But no, Wandersong is just... effectively, this guy just made a game about a bard, and it is the cutest shit ever. And I love it. And no, it wasn't made for me, but I was so happy to play it. I was so happy to play it, actually, that I kickstarted their next game for $400. I gotta send them an email and more or less just be like, hey, by the way, yes. Because there's going to be a robot helmet in Chicory that I designed. Shell designed. I vectored.